Rev up your engines!
Andrew Gazup says, I've seen your Toyota Celicas pretty much bulletproof. But what about the 7th generation of Celicas T230s? Are they as reliable as the older generations? No. They're just not. They're all computer controlled. And the ones that had those Yamaha designed engines, they blew up because something about the oil pan wasn't the right size. When you cornered, they'd scavenge and suck air, and then they'd blow from loss of oil pressure. Now, you could fix it yourself. They have kits where you put a different oil pan that's wider and holds more oil, and then they don't scavenge like that, and they work perfectly fine. I know guys that have done that, and they haven't had any problems since then. They're just not as reliable as the older ones. It's sort of like if you want the height of reliability, well-built, and they're going to last a really long time. Basically, you're talking the mid-90s to late 90s Toyota. Because even the Toyotas aren't as reliable as they used to be. Everything's going planned obsolescence. That's the world these days, you know. They sit around and say, why should we make a car that lasts 1 million miles? Then we won't sell as many. So, you know, they're all kind of in cahoots there with more plastic, more computer-controlled stuff that's going to break. Slow down low, 210 says Scotty. What do you think of the 2000 Mitsubishi Galant ES 100,000 miles for $500? I'm from San Antonio. The AC blows ice cold. That's all I care about. Do you think it's a good buy? Well, if it has ice cold AC, you're paying $500 for a Japanese car that has 130,000 miles, and you road tested and shipped. Yeah, it's a good buy. I mean, you want to rent a car. I rented a car for 5 days that cost me $500, you know? So what the heck? Give it a chance, you know. If it's an automatic, they got real weak automatics, and if you do have it, and after a while the automatic transmission goes bad, and Mitsubishi just get rid of it. But what the heck? Why not buy it for $500, you know? That's nothing. Lottie says, Scotty, would a steering wheel conversion from right-hand drive to left-hand drive be worth it on, let's say, a Supra or a GTR? Not really, because it's such a pain in the butt to do, and it costs so much money. I mean, that's why when I was in the Virgin Islands on vacation, I thought, what a crazy country. It's the British Virgin Islands, so they all drive on the left side of the road. But almost 95% of the cars there had the steering wheel on the left, not on the right like they do in England. Because even though it was a British Virgin Island, the closest place that they bought cars from was Florida. So they were all American cars. So they had the steering wheel on the wrong side, and I didn't even see a single one that was converted over. Every once in a while, I'd see an Englishman who had an English sports car like an old MG, and it had the right-hand steering on it. But all the other ones, they were American-made cars, and they were over there, and nobody converted them because it cost too much money to do. Larry Babby says, Scotty, I love the show. I got a silly question. There aren't any silly questions if you don't know the answer. Can you disconnect the battery so you drain all the juice? Will that reset the computer ABS? A lot of it depends on the vehicle, what type it is, what year it is. But generally, the ABS system has got a memory in it that's going to stay. So if you disconnect the battery, wait a minute, and put it back on, and you got an ABS code, generally it's still going to be on. I mean, if you want to try it, it resets it, great. But if your light's on, generally it means you got a problem. So even if it reset it and you turn it on, you drive around the block and the computer sees, yep, that ABS problem's still there, it'll turn it right back on, you know. It's no miracle. I mean, you can try, but on most modern cars, they've got enough whole keep alive memory in them that once they trip the code, it's not going to get rid of that code unless you get a guy like me with a high-level scan tool that says reset all the ABS codes. When we get it, when we say reset codes, it gives us a list of what codes we want to reset, so we can pick either all or one at a time to set. And if you just take the battery off, usually it won't reset the ABS on most cars, any modern ones anyways. TravelMate03 says, Scotty, I have a Toyota Ventus diesel. I love it. If I put the car in neutral and the clutch depressed downhill and the brake, there's a grinding, almost banging sound. What could it be? Okay, you're putting down it in neutral and you're hearing a noise and you pick up the clutch and the noise goes away, then you got a clutch problem. Could be the throwout bearings going or the clutch pressure plate. The springs are going out and they're clanging around inside. It's time to pull off the transmission and put a new clutch. And when you buy a clutch, take my advice. Don't just think, oh, I need this one piece. Buy an entire clutch kit, because you can get clutch kits for less than $150 most of the time if you price around. Has every single piece that you need. Has the throwout bearing, the clutch pressure plate, has the disc. It has all the parts that you need, and the good ones even have a little alignment tool so you can set it up and have it aligned so the transmission slips in better. Always buy the whole kit. Don't just buy one part. It's an expensive job. Pulling a transmission takes a lot of time. You don't want to try to save nickels when you're doing a job like that.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.